of the College of Business and Innovation, will introduce our student speaker, Chidubem Nuela Enebechi.
So when I think of celebrities with one name, here are some that come to mind. Madonna, Cher, Bono, Eminem, Rihanna. When somebody says Oprah, for example, nobody asks Oprah who. This morning's student speaker is also kind of a one-name celebrity. I will guess that many of the students, many of the faculty, and staff know that this student's name is Nuela. Whenever I have the opportunity to introduce a student, I always do a little research, and I will admit I stalk them on social media. Nuela is fond of posting quotations on Facebook. Right now, this might be making her a little nervous. And here's one that struck me that seemed to be consistent with the feedback from all of the people I asked about her. Never, ever settle. You may think you aren't gorgeous, smart, and have too many insecurities to count, but there's going to be somebody in the world who truly loves you for you. My favorite posting, though, was the following, which sounds a little weird, but think about it. When you plant lettuce, if it does not grow well, you can't blame the lettuce. Nuela is not a blamer. The words to use to describe her include determination, passionate, involved, determined, caring, resourceful, positive, tenacious, bold, compassionate, inspired, and my favorite, fabulous. In my research, I came across a nomination by one of Nuela's mentors, Hannah Stoneburner. Hannah wrote, Nuela has also truly exemplified MSUM's core values of grit, humility, and heart. Grit. We have big goals and the tenacity to achieve them. As Nuela entered MSUM as a first-year computer science student, she was put up to the challenge of taking years of difficult math courses, a subject she always struggled with. Entering MSUM, she did encounter a few doubters that questioned her motivation for her chosen major because math was so challenging for her. She took full advantage of the resources available to her, using tutoring, faculty office hours, and the math lab to help her gain the fundamentals she needed. There were times she wanted to give up. There were times she failed, but nonetheless, she persevered. I admire this student for so many reasons, not the least of which is her grit or perseverance. I'm filled with dragon pride to introduce this morning's student speaker, Nuela Enebechi.
So I've been holding myself back from crying since I walked in here. If not for anything, at least for the makeup. Makeup is quite expensive. So good morning, everyone. Welcome. Or Ndibaye Kene Mono, as we would say in my native language of Igbo. My name is Chidubem Nuela Enebechi, and I'm an international student from Nigeria. I'm sincerely delighted and honored to be the commencement speaker this morning. And I've dreamed of the day where I finally have the opportunity to share my message with all of you. So each of us here have life stories that have built us and shaped us into the person that we are today. So please allow me to share a little about my personal story. And I do recognize that this experience is not the experience of every African female. However, I'm opening up to you to empower each of you to take stance in your beliefs and to give you the courage to go out into the world and to make change. So within my Nigerian Igbo tribe, there's this popular belief that a woman is not full unless there's the birth of a son. Now in my case, my mother bore only 2 girls, just my sister and I. And growing up within that society, my family faced many hardships. I can recall a close relative telling my mother, "Do you think these things are children?" referring to my sister and I. And some would say to her, "You need to adopt a baby boy." And later in life, when a family friend heard my mother was sending me to the United States, some people said things like, but she's just a girl. Why are you spending so much money on a woman? She will someday get married and leave you. I'm, however, very thankful that I have a strong-willed mother with a positive mind of her own, who swore to send my sister and I to get a good education, even if it meant her dealing with her own financial challenges. Today, I'm sharing my story because of you, Mom. And surprise, I'm the commencement speaker. I'm sure you figured that out. I didn't tell my mother that. So, as the fall semester of 2014 began, I can remember the inauguration of President Anne Blackhurst. I can remember it just like it was yesterday. It was a beautiful sunny Friday afternoon, and the campus mall was packed with hundreds of students cheering loudly as they proudly wore their red #AnneFanRed t-shirts. The cheering areas were roped off to create a walkway for the new president as she entered the campus mall for the first time as the president of our university. There were so many people here all that day showing their dragon pride. And as I reflected on that experience, I recall feeling so inspired and motivated to see such a strong woman be the leader of our university. I recall the feelings of my African stereotypes that were deeply rooted within me to be challenged. That day, there was a fire ignited within my soul, and I knew at that moment that MSUM was transforming my life. That day, I promised myself that I made a commitment to myself to take full advantage of the opportunities available to me on campus. These opportunities allowed me to polish myself, and they've led me to believe that I'm as valuable as any other human being, irregardless of gender. And I wouldn't be standing here today without the huge impact of my family, my professors, my supervisors, community, and friends that eventually turned into family. In fact, the list is endless. I'm forever grateful and truly thankful. I'm also proud to say that I've gained acceptance into a doctorate degree program for nuclear engineering at Purdue University. I plan to use my knowledge to solve social needs related to electricity and energy, and also to use it as a platform to tackle social disparities across the globe. Indeed, it has been a tough and challenging journey, but we made it, class of 2018. So turn to the person next to you, graduates, and shout with all your strength. Say, I did it! I did it! Because we did it. And as we all move forward in our journey in life, there will be times when our biggest supporters will doubt us. I recall another transformative experience as I was looking for summer employment. Now, the only job available that summer was one at the Dragon Swim School. And there was one problem. I couldn't swim. And I shared with my mentor that I wanted this job, and I can recall her saying that I probably needed to know how to swim in order to be responsible for teaching young children. So I had this goal in mind, and I was determined, and I headed over to this same building and surrounded myself with helpful peers that taught me how to swim. I applied, and I got the position. That summer, I went on to being recognized as the instructor of the week, and it also enabled me to positively impact the lives of children in our community. And throughout my journey, there have been times where I've doubted myself, I've made mistakes, and I've had my fair share of failure. But I never stopped trying. I'm basically a product of trying and crying. And I always say to myself, things may be difficult, but they are not impossible. And even if it is impossible, there is a first time for everything. You go in there and you create your own legacy. You'll be the first time for everything. And even if you are scared, like I am as I give this speech, pretend to be brave and smile at the crowd and wave your hands. Believe you are a boss, because you own the world. Now, there's this quote from my home country that I would like to share. We say, the quote simply poses the question, should we choose to not fight a battle simply because we fear? Now, I'm sure everyone here has something that we're all struggling with. It could be your gender, it could be your race, It could be your religion, your disabilities, or even your personal insecurities. And I'm here to say to you to keep on keeping on. Because when the battles get tough, the tough keep going. And you, fellow graduates, a fire-breathing dragon pervading the air with humility, heart, and grit. And these three core values are your weapons and armor that you will use to fight this battlefield called life. Be trendsetters, challenge the status quo. Do not take no for an answer, for you all have greatness within you. You have the power to transform the world. We will transform the lives of family, friends, strangers, and along your journey, it is okay to not have all the answers, for you are allowed to be a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time. But you have to be brave and trust yourself. You have to trust that the dots will connect in your journey, and you have the ability to define the world. So dream big, dragons. The world is waiting for us. Thank you. Ibo Kwenu.
Thank you, Nuela. Denise Gorsley.